Welcome to Simply Liminal. My name is Stacy. This is my daily 2-card reading for Friday, April 19th, 2024. I can't believe how quickly this month is going. It's kind of shocking to me when I say the date and realize where we're at. This week, we are working with The Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reid. And this is got tarot in the title, but it reads more like an oracle deck than a tarot deck, but it's definitely based on the principles of the tarot. Colette Baron Reid, before she became sort of the end-all and mogul of oracle cards, I love her. She got started reading tarot cards years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I mean, she did it as a living. She supported herself, and she knew the deck very well before she started creating these oracle decks on her own, which she felt very called to by spirit to do that. And so she was asked, you know, how about you create a tarot deck? And she wasn't very interested in that initially because she's like, well, there's lots of tarot decks out there, and this doesn't, I mean, she felt more guided towards the oracle cards, but thought about it and communed with spirit, I suppose, and decided she indeed did want to do a tarot themed oracle card deck, I guess would be the way to say it. Sometimes the tarot can be very overwhelming. I mean, I bet it was like 30 years ago when I really got my hands on my first tarot deck, and I was kind of overwhelmed by the artwork, the cards, all the meanings. Everybody's got a different opinion on a card. If they're inverted, they mean one thing. If they're with another card, they mean something completely different than they mean if they're just alone. You know, the tarot can seem overwhelming. They can also seem a little bit scary. You know, there are certain cards like 13, the death card, which kind of freaks people out when it rolls up for them. Or 15, the devil. That's another one that just makes people kind of tighten up a little bit. Personally, the card that I feel like I remember that with was the 10 of Swords. The first time I kind of asked the cards, like, what do I need to know now that I didn't know before? Then I turned up the 10 of Swords, and I see, you know, like the 10 of Swords, if you don't know the tarot deck, it's a man laying dead on the ground with 10 swords in his back. And I was like, oh, okay, what? This doesn't feel good, you know? Anyway, things like that. So she's got a little bit, her principal idea is she's using tarot principles, but she wants it to read like an oracle deck with more modern positive psychology. And she renamed some of the cards, and she renamed the suits. The traditional suits are swords, wands, cups, and pentacles, and she's now calling the swords the suit of air, the wands are the suit of fire, cups are the suit of water, pentacles are the suit of earth. And of course, in the tarot, the cards have those connection to the directions. And she's just sweeping all of that other stuff out of the way, and she's saying, let's just work with the directions. Anyway, another thing that she did with this deck is she doesn't use knights in her deck. She uses what she calls messengers. So if any of those cards turn up, we will see that. So it's a bigger deck. It's 78 cards, like a traditional tarot deck. And so sometimes I struggle a little bit when I shuffle this bugger. But I'll do the best I can. As always, I'm going to do a 2-card reading where I look at the energy of the day, which is, you know, the force that's directed towards us from the world, the universe, our environment around us. Sometimes it's even our smaller environments, like our work environment or our home environment. And then the focus is the intention, the effort, or the response that we put. Whoops. Sorry. Like I said, sometimes I struggle to shuffle this big deck. Effort that we put into the energy that's around us. So, as always, I open a circle of light and love and protection around myself, which extends to you all, whoever watches this reading, no matter when it's going to be. And I truly believe that no matter when you watch this reading, whether it's on the date that's time-stamped on the title or not, there's something in the reading for you on that specific date, whether it's 5 years from now, you know, God willing, if my channel is still up and, you know, YouTube is still a platform. If you find that reading, then I believe there's something in it for you, a message for you. So let us look at the energy card for today. Sorry, like I said, this is kind of a big deck, so I don't want to dump them all over the place, but all right. And then our focus. And I always try to do this in front of the camera so you can see, you know, it's a very spontaneous reading. I'm not stacking the deck, not that somebody would want to necessarily, but just, you know, just so you know that I'm as surprised sometimes and learning about the readings as you are when you see them. So Let us look at our energy for the day. We have the Four of Fire. Now, I'm a child of fire, so I love all the fire cards, and the artwork here is beautiful. Now, there's usually candles, flames, lanterns, and all of the fire cards. This happens to be a fairy or a sprite. She's sitting around. There are some runes on this stone that she's on. This kind of has a look of a fairy stone on it, and she is playing a flute. The Four of Fire. So traditionally in tarot, 4 is a very stable number, or in numerology. Years ago, actually how I started playing with cards was with a card deck, a playing card deck, you know, and what do those cards mean, and what does it mean to you intuitively? But anyway, we're not talking about cartomancy today. We're talking about these. So we have the Four of Fire here. And I do want to read to you what she has about the fire suit really quick, because, you know, fire traditionally in the tarot is the wands. So what she says here about fire is, she says, this is the intention into action suit. And she says, the energy of intention and the inspired action creates life as spirit works through me. So this is very much a suit of action, creativity, and progress. So the Four of Fire, she says, is a new creative phase, celebration, pleasure, and harmony in relationships, which is wonderful. Yesterday's reading was more like a day to pause and ponder and let the decision come to you. And so today, maybe that decision has come to us, because we're getting this, a new creative phase, a celebration, or pleasure and harmony in relationships. So what she says here, and remember, this is from the first person, so I'm just going to read it directly as she wrote it. Dancers have partners, singers have musicians helping them create sweet music, and I find others who are in sync with me and my desires. It's time for celebrating friendship and all that others bring into my life. A time for revelry and relishing the pleasures of being in good company. Making magic together with others is the focus at this time. So look around you today. Look at your friends. Who do you feel like you create magic with? Who do you feel like you have a special bond with? And, you know, it doesn't just have to be a friend. Sometimes your family can be the best friends that you have. You know, friendship is very interesting, because friends can be family, and friends can be people that you barely know, but you connect with on a different level. You know, like last week and really the week before then, I've so been on this George Harrison kick, and I just never, of course, knew George Harrison of the Beatles in my life at all. But I feel like he could have been my friend if I would have ever been blessed and lucky enough to know him. And so sometimes we can look at friendship in that way too. Something that you don't really think that you're creating something with might be a beautiful song that inspires you. Like last week, I was really, really inspired by George Harrison's song, you know, and that's a wonderful thing. He's, you know, and so I find a lot of inspiration in music. And so sometimes that maybe is the friend that you're inspired to create with. So let us look at our focus today and see what our intention or effort that we're putting in. We have the Three of Earth. So this is another beautiful card. You know, all these cards are beautiful. So we see in here, like Earth, like there are coins or discs or pentacles, if you will, except this is more of a triquel, which I think of as, you know, being more of a Celtic kind of thing. There are a symbol, but they're all over her. There's one here, one here, one here. So the Three of Earth. Now the Earth is, I will read to you also what she says about this suit, but the suit of Earth is a much more grounded, real, obviously much different feeling suit than the suit of air. So Earth, she says, are conditions, which I thought was interesting when I read this. I was like, conditions, because I very much think of it as kind of grounded energy, real time energy, but she calls it conditions. And she says, we see material results. And of course, based on that idea, it's like you kind of start from air, and then that's your ideas, and then you add fire, which is the action, and then you add water, which is your heart and your intuition, and eventually it all comes out in the Earth, you know, in your fourth suit, what you're creating, what you're really getting in life here. So let's look at what she says specifically about this card. Oh, somehow I turned to water. Sorry, big book because it's a big deck. So the 3 of Earth, it says teamwork, building on solid foundations, group efforts, dedicated collaboration. You know, my God, it is shocking to me how, it's not really shocking to me because I've seen it for years with the Oracle cards, but how the messages are so in sync, how they go together. You know, this is telling us that creativity and is going to happen with a certain group of friends. And this is telling us that it's about teamwork, about group efforts, about dedicated collaboration, and we're building on solid foundations. So beautiful. Anyway, what this says is, what I am building is grounded in a solid foundation, so I know I can trust that it will not slip away suddenly. I am joined by others in coordinated efforts to bring forth what we have chosen to co-create. The architecture of my dreams is becoming tangible, taking shape before me, and I share my joy and pride with my partners and supporters. Teachers and students, we are all learning, growing, and building collaboratively. So this is beautiful. You know, yesterday's message was all about pausing and thinking and letting the answer come to us. And today's energy is all about action, finding that special group of people that you want to create with, and then letting it grow on solid foundation. So this is a beautiful reading and this is a beautiful day. I'm really, really excited about it. I hope you found this reading helpful. I hope you connected with it in some way. I would love to hear what you think about this deck. This is The Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reed. Please like, please subscribe, please share these videos, please leave me comments. All of these things can help my channel grow. And by helping my channel grow, I can help spread the idea, not just in the direct readings that I'm doing for the collective, but open people up to the idea of Oracle cards and to find some Oracle cards and find something that connects to you, and maybe find a way to do this divination and readings for yourself. Because your soul is trying to guide you, you know, towards answers and growth, because that's what we're here for. We're here to grow. We're here to become better. We're here to become more. So thank you so much. My name is Stacy. Thanks for visiting Simply Liminal with me today. Have a wonderful day.